But first, here tonight at 5 o'clock, we've got serious and dangerous heat right back here in Kentuckiana. You've been feeling it out there. Reminder to check on your neighbors. Make sure your pets are inside or have plenty of water and shade. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Doug Proffitt, and we are joined by the newest member of the WHAS11 Weather Impact Team. That's meteorologist Matthew Willoughby, who has joined us here in Louisville, of course. And Matthew, I know what a week for you to be laying out a forecast today as you're filling in for Mallory.
Yeah, at least I'm glad I'm inside right now.
Yes.
Yeah, it is just downright hot outside, and that's why we do have that weather impact alert day in effect for today for some high heat and humidity. So make sure you stay cool and at least hydrated, not only for today, but at least the next several days. Looking outside, beautiful view, but man, it is hot. Temperatures right now into the lower 90s. Shepherdsville at 94 degrees, Louisville at 93 degrees, Scottsburg at 91. But those feel like temperatures sweltering outside. We're talking triple digits as far as those heat indices across in our entire area. As look at some of those weather headlines, though, still going to see those heat indices over into the triple digits for the next several days, and we'll see that warmer than average trend and even some summertime showers returning to the forecast over the next couple of days. Those current alerts, we do have that heat advisory that was in effect until 8 p.m. today, but that has now been extended until Friday 8 p.m. So we'll likely see that extended until Friday as well for some heat and dangerous heat conditions. Let's look at that hourly planner. They'll still be into the lower 90s by 8 p.m., even upper 80s by 10 p.m. So it's going to be a warm and muggy night out there for you. The heat's not going to stop there, though. We got more extreme heat on the way for your next week. And we're talking highs likely into the upper 90s ahead. So we'll be timing that out for you and what you can expect for the week ahead. But this heat wave still going to stay active over the next several days. We'll send it back over to you, Doug.
I know that I'm going to hear bad things when we do go to court about my son. But I also know that I'm going to say good things, too.
Brand new at 5, that Louisville mother preparing to take on the city as she files a wrongful death lawsuit for her 34-year-old son who died in the jail 1 year ago. We have more on the lawsuit we first told you about here last night at 5. The jail saying in its own internal investigation that officers missed 2 chances to potentially save the life of Richard Graham. His mother is still unsure exactly how Richard got drugs in jail, but she says the jail should have prevented it. Focus reporter Travis Breeze has been spending months on the story, and he spoke to her again today. Travis?
Doug, I've read through Richard Graham's death investigation multiple times. I've seen who was and wasn't interviewed. And in the redacted version that the city gave to me, it doesn't say exactly how the drugs got in. Monica says she wants to figure that out and prevent it from happening to anyone else's child.
He was a nice young man. Even though he made many mistakes, he did, he still overall was a good guy.
Monica Graham has been fighting for her son for the last several months. He's constantly on her mind.
I just been really emotional these last few months. I have.
Richard died of a drug overdose May 19th, 2024, while in jail. Her lawsuit claims the jail did several things wrong, some of which the jail already admitted in its internal investigation. 2 officers were reprimanded for not doing adequate cell checks in the hours leading up to his overdose. The lawsuit says these officers either did not recognize that he was unresponsive or did not care.
If they would have checked and did something, my son might be still alive.
The internal investigation says one officer didn't check for signs of life or do a sternum rub. Another officer didn't scan each inmate's bracelet. The jail said this week it doesn't comment on pending litigation, but Chief Jerry Collins told me last month scanning the wristbands is more important.
The wristband is a different story. Now that's why they got reprimanded. You can do the wristband, but you really can't go around and sternum rub everybody that's asleep.
A source within the jail sent me this video. It shows Richard putting something in his mouth or nose, and the timestamp matches the jail's internal investigation.
There might be somebody saying, oh, well, he did it to himself. Of course, he put it up his nose, but he should not have been able to get to it.
The lawsuit also says a foreign object can clearly be seen in Richard's body scan during booking. There's no discussion of the body scan in the report, and the officer who did it was never interviewed. That was a lead that they never investigated.
Very important.
I have tried to reach the officer who did the scan multiple times. He has not responded. Chief Collins also told me last month drugs still get into the jail, but most don't make it past the first floor.
In the beginning, it was everywhere all over the jail. Now you have limited incidents where you find it in the jail, and that's a good thing.
Monica knows she'll have to talk more about Richard's death in court.
It's my child. I'm ready for anything.
She says it's worth it to prevent pain for future families. Chief Collins has made several reforms to curb in-custody deaths since he started as the head of the jail in March 2022, including inmates changing into their jail jumpsuits the instant that they get into jail, stopping paper mail, and also increasing the amount of Narcan in the facility. In the studio, Travis Breeze, WHAS11 on your side.
Continuing our focus on the Louisville jail. Thank you, Travis. Oldham County Police investigating after finding 2 people shot inside a home in Buckner. Police responded after midnight to a call from a young person inside the house who told dispatchers their dad and 17-year-old brother were fighting. Officers responded to Claire Cove there in Buckner, where they found 47-year-old Nadim Pasha and 17-year-old Elijah Pasha shot to death. Oldham County Police did not say who shot who in this case. Officers say there is no danger to the public, and the investigation is still underway there in Oldham County. Brand new here at 5, we have a major new twist in the case of LaTosha White, the Louisville woman missing then found dead. It also comes today with an apology from the police chief. Then he releases the full story. Police said the day she was killed by her own boyfriend, the two were actually on their way to carry out a murder plot. White's family said they warned LMPD she had been missing days before they filed their missing persons report on May 1st. She was later found dead in the Butchell neighborhood on May 7th. The U.S. Marshals Task Force arrested 44-year-old Jamie Shelby in Jeffersonville, Indiana. WHAS 11's Alexandra Goldberg joins us more now as you also cover the chief today with the new information that is being brought to light. Alexandra?
Right, Doug. This new information released on the heels of a community press conference held just this morning. Metro Council members and advocates condemning Louisville Metro Police Chief Paul Humphrey for telling the media, quote, Tasha White's behavior ultimately placed her in the situation she ended up in. Chief Humphrey apologized and gave details to exactly what he meant by that.
I feel like he meant it. There's no need for apology. You said what you said. You meant what you said. Just do your own investigation. There's no need to speak on an ongoing investigation. I feel like that's not your job right now.
LaTosha White's stepdaughter, Shantae Young, says the family of White, this woman who was found dead in May, is offended and hurt by Louisville Metro Police Chief Paul Humphrey, who said this on Wednesday.
Tasha White's behavior placed her in the position she ultimately ended up in.
We found out via Facebook. They didn't reach out to us like they said they did. I feel like we're still grieving. We're still trying to process the stuff, and what he said was unprofessional, unethical. It was biased opinion.
White was found dead in a wooded area in the Butchell neighborhood on May 7th, less than 1 week after a missing persons report was filed. Now, the chief speaking today.
I apologize, particularly to Miss White's family, for the lack of sensitivity and the lack of clarity in my words, and how that contributed to their pain.
The chief explains why he made the comment. White and her boyfriend, Jamie Shelby, who is now charged and arrested in her murder, were planning their own murder plot.
Evidence shows that at the time of her murder, the two were en route together to commit another murder. She was killed using her own gun.
White's family remembering White and taking a stand against how the department handled her case.
She was a mother. She wasn't just another black woman. She didn't hurt anyone. She wasn't in the street. She had a job.
Metro Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins organized the press conference this morning after the chief made that original statement. She gave WHAS 11 an updated statement, quote, I am glad he apologized for his error in phrasing, but he needs to be more mindful about what he says publicly, as this has affected Miss White's family as well as the black community. It seems to me that he is also trying to excuse the comments he made by giving more information on the case that was not public information until now, end quote. In studio, Alexandra Goldberg, WHAS 11 on your side. Doug.
Alexandra, thank you very much. More local news here tonight. The Kentucky governor today saying immigration policy changes here in Metro Louisville brings the city up to date. The rest of the state of Kentucky. This week, as you know, Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg changed the detainer policies at the Louisville jail. Now immigrants will be held for 48 hours in order for Homeland Security to be notified. At his weekly update today in Frankfort, the governor was asked about this change, which was made to get Louisville off the sanctuary city list.
The mayor was and the city was. But let me say, I don't think that they were ever a sanctuary city. I think that those criteria weren't met, weren't close to met, and I was asked to opine on that as Attorney General several times. I think they were faced with little choice, and you know, they're now in line with the rest of the state.
The governor reminded people this isn't a broader statement on different immigration efforts out there. He emphasized the mayor had very little choice in the matter. And right here tonight, more of a late-breaking story that caught a lot of people off guard today. A big change coming to the 152nd running of the Kentucky Oaks, and it's making history for a place that is nothing but history. Churchill Downs announcing today the Oaks will now air during prime time on Derby Eve Friday night at 8 o'clock, moving from what had been nearly a 7 o'clock race time. And it's going to air on NBC. That helps NBC get bigger West Coast audiences with a later time. This has brought a lot of concern to many local restaurant owners who are trying to cash in on that major day of tourism. Jose Alonso is talking to restaurant owners and reports from Churchill Downs.
A major announcement from Churchill Downs on the Kentucky Oaks as the famous Race of the Phillies is being pushed back to the 8 o'clock evening hour. We spoke with local restaurant owners and a spokesperson of the track about the impact this could have. A fresh pizza from Bear Nose could be on the mind of Oaks visitors after a day of wearing pink and placing bets on races. But with the race moving to primetime, it raises concerns for local restaurant owners like George Timmer.
You know, Churchill Downs is a business, and just like I'm a business, we're all trying to make decisions what we have to do to what's best for us in making money. And unfortunately for this one, it's going to negatively impact a lot of big events and a lot of restaurants.
He says Derby Day is all about takeout orders, while Oaks tends to see more dine-in customers that may not stop by anymore.
This is truly trickle-down economics, right? The people that are, if they're going to be out at the track, they're not going to be spending money with the small businesses around the area.
These are concerns that Churchill says they are acknowledging.
We are exploring opportunities to support them through Derby Week, or is there a way we can efficiently get fans from the track to these restaurants?
Officials say the Oaks will be the last race of the day, with the first post at 12:30. In Louisville, Jose Alonso, WHAS11 on your side.
The Churchill Downs spokesperson also says the Kentucky Derby brings in $400 million worth of regional impact money. Now they hope this change to the Oaks, the race time, will push more growth on Derby Day and growth for the entire Derby week that businesses can help get some benefits from. Well, today the American Water Charitable Foundation presented the Friends of Charlestown State Park in southern Indiana with a $50,000 STEM education grant for a water restoration project. This project will support the restoration of the last remaining well at the former Indiana Army ammunition plant. The well served as a source of water for the Army from 1940 to 1995. And officials say they believe in strong community partnerships and want to, quote, help educate and inspire the next generation of environmental stewards, end quote.